everyone. How are you all? I hope you all are keeping fine and safe. So let's start our video today. As you can see, I have already opened a question before you, which is a very important question for your exams that are upcoming. So the question is, the Indian government's response to COVID-19 pandemic has shifted the federal balance in its favor. Illustrate with suitable examples. Now you have to give examples also along with it. In this question, you have to explain very clearly why we are determining this. So for this answer, as you know, COVID-19 pandemic has definitely caused a lot of loss, a lot of worsening situations, but this has also shifted the federal balance in its favor. So to explain this, definitely you have to explain this. Along with it, you also have to give correct examples for it. So let's start with the answer. India's federal balance collapsed in the second wave, as we already know. While there was a set of complex reasons for such a weak response, a contributory factor which was also the breakdown of center-state cooperation. While this cooperation was instrumental to the success in the first wave, as infections exploded, the center and the state started blaming each other. In the early days of the pandemic, federalism with its decentralized approach was considered an obstacle in the battle against COVID-19. Instead, a swift and centralized response was taken as key to defeating the virus. Now, as you understand, this entire federal balance got collapsed in the second wave. Both the center and the state started blaming each other because of the vaccines, because of the situations that worsened, because of the political issue, everything. The state blamed the center, whereas the center blamed the state. But in such a situation, while blaming each other, COVID-19 did not stop. It started exploding. And we found out that various infection cases increased and the graph was quite high. In such a situation, there was nothing to be done except having hope for the vaccines and blaming each other as the center and the states did without maintaining a proper federal balance. Among large federal systems in early to 2020, India was projected to be starting at a tsunami of infections and deaths. Yet, India proved the prophecies wrong. While the BJP, that is the Bharatiya Janata Party led union government, led from the front, state governments, including states ruled by non-BJP forces, notwithstanding the temporary loss of power and autonomy, joined hands with the center. Now, focusing on this, the infections, as it's not based on political parties, definitely, and it was expected to have started with a huge explosion, as we term here, the tsunami of infections and deaths, but it did not happen so as we see. Though there was miscommunications, there were problems between the center and the state, both of them joined hands together in controlling the infection. The BJP-led union government, along with the great cooperation of the states, was able to control the infections from worsening. From the worst situation, it got controlled, and definitely we had losses, temporary losses or permanent losses were also there, but not to the extent as it was expected, only because of the joint cooperation of both the states, because they understood that political differences or ideological differences will be there. There will not be any decision which will not be questioned or asked or not be blamed or criticized. But definitely, if both the center and the states take proper decisions or cooperate, then definitely the citizens will be benefited. A few months later, the entire edifice of India's COVID management turned upside down as a new and more contagious variant began spreading. A combination of triumphalism, complacency, and a top political leadership focused on assembly elections led to a raging second wave that sent shockwaves among key institutions tasked to manage pandemic. Many states and big urban centers such as Delhi were completely overwhelmed with health systems barely withstanding to mounting infections. In short, India's reputation of having better managed the initial wave of pandemic came to tatters because the first initial wave was still manageable, but the second wave was beyond our control because in this A new variant came which was more contagious, 77% more contagious than the previous one. And according to the assembly elections, this led to a raging second wave, and definitely this came as a shock to all the institutions, and even all the urban or the rural cities could not or were not able to control it. Diluting federalism, notably public health and sanitation, which is a very important key factor for a better country or economy or a developing country, are matters falling exclusively within the legislative competence of the states. That is entry 6, list 2, 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. This is mentioned clearly in this list. Admittedly, the subject of constituting funds to tackle the challenge of this pandemic is not an issue of legislative competence, but the fact that states are vested with the exclusive authority to legislate on health related issues is a good indicator of the crucial role that our constitution makers envisaged for states with respect to matters pertaining to public health. Now, public health and sanitation is an important factor that the states are considered into, and they are the sole decision-making powers as to how public health will be governed and sanitation will be taking place. So, in such a situation, we have seen various organizations, various states have taken the initiative of sanitizing. They have sanitized buildings, roads regularly. All the neighborhoods had been sanitized so as to control the spread of the virus. In such a situation where in the entry 6, list 2, 7th schedule of the Constitution, it is said that the Constitution funds will be created to come out or help out with this pandemic situation. The states have taken an active part in sanitation. Public health have been taken definite consideration, and definitely sanitization, which is different from sanitation, definitely don't confuse it. Sanitization had been clearly taken care of with the help of the state government. Therefore, we must ask on what basis we are diminishing the capacity of the states to raise money through their separate COVID-19 relief funds. If this is asked, yes, the rationale offered by the MCA is that the Chief Minister's Relief Fund or State Relief Fund for COVID-19 is not included in Schedule 7 of the Companies Act, and therefore it is not eligible for CSR contributions, that is corporate social responsibility contributions. But several concerns can be raised against this reasoning, because this is a matter of urgent importance, but this was not included in Schedule 7 of the Companies Act. So we have found companies not even deliberately giving funds for this COVID-19 relief fund, that is the Chief Minister's Relief Fund or State Relief Fund for COVID-19, because this would not be considered as a CSR activity, that is corporate social responsibility, as the companies are supposed to do for the society. So since this was not included, we have found many companies, many big industries not contributing, but there were individuals who contributed, and the Chief Minister's Relief Fund and the State Relief Fund for COVID-19 finally came as a success, though we did not get various contributions from huge or big industries. Firstly, the MCA claimed that contributions made to the State Disaster Management Authority would count as CSR expenditure item under item number 12 of Schedule 7 of the Companies Act. Now, item number 12 reads disaster management, including relief, rehabilitation, and reconstruction activities. This did not include any such pandemic in such a case. But if disaster management can be interpreted to include contributions to the State Disaster Management Authority, it is unclear why promoting healthcare, including preventive healthcare, that is item number 1 of Schedule 7 of the Companies Act, cannot be so interpreted to include contributions to the various emergency relief funds set by various or different state governments exclusively to combat COVID-19 pandemic. Now it is reasonable to construe promoting healthcare as including efforts by both the NGOs and state governments to check the pandemic. The same is consistent with the circular issued by the MCA on 23rd of March 2020, number 5 by 1 by 2019 CSR, wherein it was stated that items number 1 and 12 of Schedule 7 are broad-based and may be interpreted liberally when considering spending CSR funds for COVID-19. So since this provision was not made earlier, the government has taken a correct decision as to include the various promoting healthcare issue because of this, and the NGOs and the state governments which had already started, they also included this to just initiate or motivate CSR funds for COVID-19 relief. And this was clearly issued in a circular that was released on 23rd of March 2020. That is the 5 by 1 by 2019 CSR circular, which stated that the item number 1 and 12 of Schedule 7 are broad-based and may be interpreted liberally, because such a situation was not there, and it would definitely take time for the amendment to take place, and such amendment will definitely not wait for the virus to spread. So in such a spreading cases, it was declared through a circular that broad-based may be interpreted liberally. Secondly, even if one were to assume that the aforementioned interpretation of item number 1 of Schedule 7 is not reasonable, it would not have been any hassle for the central government to promulgate an ordinance amending Schedule 7 of the Companies Act so as to specifically include the Chief Minister's Relief Fund and state relief funds for COVID-19 within the ambit of CSR activity, which was correctly done by them. The central government had already promulgated an ordinance to amended provisions of the Income Tax Act, which is the IT Act, to provide the same tax treatment to the PM CARES fund as available to the PMNRS, taxation and other laws, relaxation to certain provisions, ordinance of 2020. The ordinance route, therefore, was a viable alternative that the center chose to ignore. So this alternative was not chosen by them, but according to the provisions made from the Income Tax Act, various provisions were made, changes in tax treatment took place so that this state relief funds or the PM's relief fund for COVID-19 could be initiated and could be fought through. Notably, the traditional federal conundrum of choosing between greater central control or enhanced state autonomy was undergoing a shift with the emergence of the doctrine of cooperative federalism. This doctrine requires the state and the states to work in harmony. That is, the work and the states, the union and the states, along with the states and the states, to work in harmony towards achieving greater goals of good governance and overall development. The Supreme Court, in the case of governance of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India, has unequivocally held that the union and the states need to embrace a collaborative or cooperative federal architecture for achieving coordination. In collaborative federalism, the union and the state governments should express their readiness to achieve a common objective and work together to achieve it. Both the center and the states must work within their spheres and not think of any encroachment. This was very important, as in the question it is asked about an example. You can relate to this case of government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India. This case where you can refer and say that both the center and the states could have worked in a good way, cordially, and harmonizing each other, which was not done in the first case. Later on, it started happening as the infection started to rise and the urgency was felt. So in such a case, both the center and the state should and definitely work together within their spheres and not go beyond their boundaries and not think of any encroachment. So this is the complete answer to your question. I'll just give you a quick recap. The Indian government's response to COVID-19 pandemic has shifted the federal balance in its favor. You have to give example along with illustration. Yes, the federal balance collapsed in the second wave because of the contributory factor, and there was center state cooperation breakdown also. Both started blaming each other, and there were various obstacles that had to be fought, and COVID-19 was increasing, and it was very difficult to defeat the virus. But as it was expected in 2020, there would be a tsunami of inspections. This did not happen as the BJP-led union government and the state governments joined hand in hand and started cooperating and collaborating with each other so that they do not face any problem, and Indian citizens finally are able to live a better life and be beyond the danger of the virus. Next, within a few months, we found that India's COVID management turned upside down as there was a new contagious variant which was spreading even more fastly and widely. And definitely, there were assembly elections which had to take place. And among this, the COVID-19 pandemic was increasing day by day, which included the center, various states, and various other places, which was beyond our control, and definitely the urban centers, health centers, everything failed to combat this health crisis. Then federalism got diluted, and according to entry 6 of list 2, 7th schedule of Indian Constitution, it was said that the fact that the states are vested with the exclusive power, but the public health and sanitation is completely related to the states, where again they have taken a definite active propagandism, where they have taken care of public health and sanitation as per possible, but both again started blaming each other as to the states could have operated wisely and in a better way, whereas they did not receive any help from the center. Therefore, again coming to the CSR funds, that is the State Relief Fund for COVID-19 was established, where anyone could have contributed for COVID-19 relief, and this was not included in Schedule 7 of Companies Act. Therefore, it did not motivate the big industries or the companies to give any fund, as it was not included in the CSR contributions. So again, taking this into mind, there was a new circular that was passed on 23rd of March 2020 with the advertisement circular number 5/1/2019 of CSR, which included that broad-based and may be interpreted liberally. So including this, and it was also stated that item number 1 and 12 of Schedule 7 will be considered in interpreted liberally, and this motivated and raised funds for COVID-19, which ultimately helped Indian citizens. Next, Schedule 7, it was not reasonable enough, and it would not have been a hassle for the central government to control it if not for the elections and the amendments to be done. Later on, they made amendments and provisions for the changes of Income Tax Act, which also gave various different tax treatments, and there were provisions made for PM CARES fund, where PMNRF taxation and other laws were taken into consideration. Therefore, it was viable it was not viable basically for the ordinance route, and an alternative that was that could have been chosen, but the center ignored it. So keeping all this in mind, you can conclude your answer with the example of Government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India, where it was clearly invocably said that the union and the states need to embrace and have a collaborative function, where both of them need to join hands together and work together, having harmony, so that ultimately the loss is not of the Indian citizens and they can grow through development. So this should be the answer to this question. This is the complete answer to the question that is given. So if you are an aspiring student for this kind of examinations, you can expect such questions to come for the paper. And definitely this is a very well framed answer that I have given you. You can reframe your answer in your own way possible also, but you can just inculcate these points. So I hope you have found benefit by watching this video. Keep watching such videos in this channel and stay tuned. Thank you for patiently hearing me out for so long, and all the best for your career ahead. Thank you so much.